Good morning, children. We will be beginning the lesson The Dying Detective. Before explaining, let me tell you a few things. Arthur Conan Doyle. He was a famous author who created a fictional detective, Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes was a private agent in the story of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, and Sherlock Holmes had a very good friend, Dr. Watson. Sherlock Holmes is known for his sharp reasoning and his ability to disguise himself. And most of the stories are set in London and narrated by the friend of Sherlock Holmes, that is Dr. John Watson. In this story, we will see that at the very beginning, Sherlock Holmes is very sick, and this news is being given to his friend Dr. Watson by the landlady of Sherlock Holmes. So we begin the story now. "He is dying, Dr. Watson," said Sherlock Holmes, the landlady. So the landlady is telling Dr. Watson that Sherlock Holmes was so sick that he was about to die, and he was not even allowing the landlady to get a doctor. Then Dr. Watson says, "Listen, Mr. Holmes, whether you give me permission or you don't, I am going to get a doctor." I was horrified, I can tell you, Dr. Watson. Now the landlady says that really I am very afraid because Sherlock Holmes has been working on a case in an alley. Alley means a small street near the river, and from there he brought this sickness with him. He is neither having any food nor any drink since he has come back from that place. And Holmes was indeed a sad spectacle, means he was presenting a sorry sight. Eyes of Holmes were showing the brightness of fever, and his voice was very harsh, croaking. And then Watson goes near to him and tells him, "My dear fellow," but Holmes orders him sharply, "You stand back." Why? Because the disease is contagious. Holmes feels that even Dr. Watson might be affected with the disease if he comes close to him. And Dr. Watson asks him, "Why are you telling me to stand back?" "Because it is my wish." "That should be enough for you. And remember, I am telling you for your own good." Holmes replied in a croaking voice. Watson asks him, "For me?" "I know what the matter with me is." Holmes said, "I know what my sickness is. This is a disease from Sumatra." Sumatra is an island, children, in Southeast Asia. Holmes says that I have picked up this disease from Sumatra, and we know very little about this disease. But one thing is sure, that the disease is deadly, it can kill people, and it is terribly contagious. It can just go from one person, transfer from one person to another. And then Dr. Watson tells him, listen, Holmes, you are not yourself. You are now a sick child. And a sick man is just like a child, and it is my duty to treat you. You mean well, Watson, groaned the sick man, groaned Holmes. But shall I demonstrate your ignorance? Shall I tell you that you don't know anything about the disease? Tell me, what do you know about this Tapanuli fever? Children, Tapanuli is a district in Sumatra. Then he is asking Watson, do you know anything about Black Formosa corruption? Black Formosa. Formosa is the previous name for Taiwan. Taiwan is also an island in Southeast Asia, and the word corruption here means disease. So Holmes is asking Watson, do you know anything about Tapanuli fever or this disease of Taiwan? Watson says, no, I have not heard about all this. Then Holmes tells him that in Southeast Asia, Watson, there are many strange types of diseases and we can do nothing about it. Yes, Watson says, possibly we can't do anything. But Dr. Ainstree, he is a living authority on tropical disease, means that he has a very good hold on tropical diseases, and presently the doctor is in London. So I'll go there this very moment and bring him. Never had I had such a shock. Dr. Watson was never so surprised before. In a moment, Mr. Holmes, he sprang up like a tiger. He was a dying man and he stopped, he interrupted Dr. Watson, and I heard the sharp snap of twisted key. He said, no, you will not go to Dr. Ainstree. Means he jumped up, Holmes jumped up from his bed and closed the door. And the next moment, he again somehow staggered with difficulty. He came back to his bed. He was totally exhausted, tired. And he said that I will not give you the key to go out. Watson, here you are and you will stay with me unless I have a different wish. It is 4 o'clock now, and after 2 hours at 6 o'clock, I will allow you to go. Dr. Watson had no choice. Then Holmes says, none at all now, Watson. There is one other condition I would make. I will tell you one more thing. You will seek help. You will definitely ask for help, but not from the doctor whom you mentioned, but from that person whom I choose. Watson says, okay, sure, by all means. Then Holmes tells him, at 6 o'clock, Watson, we resume. We will begin again our conversation, our discussion. Dr. Watson was not able to settle down. He walked slowly around the room and he started examining the pictures of celebrated criminals. Celebrated means the most wanted criminals. Children, Holmes is a detective. So what pictures you will get in his room? The pictures of criminals only, with which every wall was adorned, decorated On every wall there were pictures of criminals. Finally, I came to the mantelpiece. What is a mantelpiece? It is a structure which is just above a fireplace. In the midst means among, a jumble, a mess of things. On the mantelpiece there were many things, and among them was a small black and white ivory box. Ivory, it is the tusk of an elephant. So there was a small black and white ivory box, and it had a sliding lid. Dr. Watson stretched out his hand to examine, to investigate that black and white ivory box. And then again Holmes gave a dreadful, a fearful cry, shouting, "You put it down this very moment, Watson!" And his head sank back upon the pillow, and he gave a deep sigh of relief, because Watson had kept that black box back upon the mantelpiece. And then Holmes tells him, "Thank you, that is excellent. And now you please do this kindness to place some letters and papers upon this table within my reach." Means bring those papers and letters where I can reach them. There is a sugar tongue. You know sugar tongue? It is used to hold sugar cubes. He says there is a sugar tongue over there. You kindly raise that small ivory box with its assistance, with its help, with the help of the sugar tongue. You don't touch it. You use the sugar tongue to lift up the ivory box and place it here among the papers. And now you do this work. Go and fetch Mr. Culverton Smith. He is asking Dr. Watson to go and bring Mr. Culverton Smith, and the address of that person is 13 Lower Burke Street. Watson says, "I have never heard that name." And then Holmes tells him, "Watson, it may surprise you to know that the man, Mr. Culverton Smith, he is well versed, he has a great knowledge of the disease which I am suffering from. Although Mr. Smith is not a doctor, he is not a medical man, but he is a planter, means he is the manager of plantation, and Mr. Smith is a well-known resident of Sumatra, from where he had brought this disease, and now he was in London." So Holmes tells Watson that if you can persuade him, if you can convince Mr. Smith to come here and give us the benefit and give us the advantages of his unique experience, of his unique means unparalleled, which nobody has, of this particular disease, because Mr. Smith's best or dearest hobby is the investigation of this particular disease, and Holmes is sure that he is the only person who could help him. Now, one more thing is there. There is no good feeling between us. Means what? Mr. Smith and Holmes are not in good terms. Why? Because Mr. Smith's nephew. Mr. Smith had a nephew, and that boy died in a horrible way. And Holmes, being a detective, he had suspicion that the death of the nephew of Mr. Smith was not a natural death, but rather it was a murder. And that is the reason Mr. Smith has a feeling of dislike, a grudge against Holmes. And Holmes feels that Mr. Smith may not be ready to come and help him. And then he tells Watson that if only he could pacify Mr. Smith and bring him to his place. Fine. Dr. Watson says that he would bring him in a cab. Cab, children? It is a horse-drawn carriage which can be hired. And then Watson says, I will not carry him, I will bring him in a cab. So children, I am ending here. We will continue the explanation in part 2. Thank you.